welcome to another episode at Ewetopia Farms.
Pretty easy, goes real simple. And then I want her to hold that milk production while that lamb's nursing for the whole 100 days. The more milk she gives, the better that lamb's gonna do. And that is the most natural thing for that lamb, to be having milk, not be eating grain. Lambs start trickling away at the creep feed because they just want more than what the mother's producing.
Let's get started.
So, doing night chores. It's 5 o'clock at night. The sun, it looks like it's pretty bright out, but it's actually getting quite dark. And actually, I'll show you something. Nope, missed it. Seen my first morning dove. Anyways, so, you know how it went this year. The month of May to the first week in June was so wet you could hardly even plant crops. All the crops went in the first week or 10 days of June, which was really late. And now it's pouring rain all day, extremely wet. And I'll show you how much rain we've had. There's the gauge. You might not get a good reading underneath these trees, but it's not too bad. And there's inch and 3/4 of rain so far today. And if you don't live in Canada and you live somewhere else, I'll tell you what it's like. There's a songwriter in Canada called Gordon Lightfoot. Gordon Lightfoot, again. He wrote a great song, and it's called the Edmund Fitzgerald, which was a famous, was a big ship on the lakes, in the Great Lakers. They call them Lakers. And that ship ran iron ore, and it was on one of the Great Lakes. And Gordon Lightfoot wrote a song about that. It was called the Edmund Fitzgerald, the song. You can probably get online and find that out. And that song will tell you what the weather is in Canada. It's end of October and November, or end of October. October's leaving out in a storm, and 1st of November is coming in rough weather and cold. We've had some heavy frosts already, and it's in a dying mold. But anyways, get a hold of that song, listen to it, and it'll tell you what the weather is like in Canada. I'll talk to you later. I'm just doing chores. Actually, I'm going to do something right now, and I'll show you in a few minutes. So, like I said, it was raining all day. Today is Thursday. It's supposed to rain into Friday. And I don't know if you can see the yards are saturated. So basically we went through probably two and a half months with really no rain at all. It really affected everything we got this summer, but we're going to be okay. We do have enough feed, and now it's raining cats and dogs. So what we're doing tonight is that right there. You might recognize that. So what's happening right now, the rain is blowing in on those curtains and making the bedding packs wet. So we're going to drop a few curtains right now, and I'll show you. So we're going to drop, this barn here has 2 curtains, one in the front, one at the back. We're going to drop the one curtain down just to keep I'll show you the bedding in there is kind of wet from the water. So we're just going to put this little drill right in here. Oh, right in there. And we're just going to drop that curtain. Pretty easy, goes real simple. And we're going to see how low we get it. right about there. So that's one half, and we'll leave the front half up for a while, so the sheep will be able to lay back in this dry section and not be laying in the direct wind. Because the weather right now is ruthless. So we didn't let the sheep out today because it was raining so hard. And believe me, I'm pretty grateful for the rain. You can't farm without water, so just bear with me. I'm going to step over this gate. And I think we're going to drop this curtain down here at the back too. It's also a split curtain, two half curtains. And this is all bedding here at the back that we use for straw. It's an old hay field we had. We just took it in for bedding. And that's how we're bedding the sheep up. But we're going to drop this curtain too. Oh, let's put that eye in there. Get it in there some way, come on. There you go. Just dropping down. Put my hands a little bit in the way. These actually work quite slick, and I like them a lot. So I'm going to drop it right to the bottom until I see that curtain roll up like that, right there. That's it. And that will keep the rain and snow out all winter. And if we have any more bad weather, we're going to drop the front one down too. And at that point, if we have a warm day, we'll just drop the top of the curtain down a foot or two to let fresh air in. And we'll monitor that every day while we're doing chores. Because these sheep just got shorn off about 3 days ago, so they're a little cold. And right now I'm going to do chores. It's getting late and it's still raining. I don't know if you can see the raindrops hitting the water. Maybe you can't see that. See? Anyways, so yeah, if it gets any worse, we'll drop down that front one too. Is it cold out, boys, girls? Nice bunch of sheep. And this is the big boys group. What's that saying? What's that on your back? Come over here. What's that on your back? Oh, nice ram right there. Look at that. So we'll see. We're going to start feeding. I'm just going to gather up the grain right now, and I'm going to start feeding them. And I was supposed to start drawing manure today, but now I'm thinking it's wet today, it's wet tomorrow. I'm probably going to start on Monday, and they're talking about 5 or 6 days with no rain. And I'm going to guess the ground's quite dry. It'll probably soak up the water. And we'll do it another day. So, on that note, I think I'm going to go and get my feed and start feeding sheep. So, just feeding the sheep up for tonight. And I don't know if you can see the mist out there, but see the rain is bouncing off those windows and it's making the bedding pack wet. So, if it gets any worse, I'm going to start shutting those windows halfway to stop the rain from blowing in. That's just your typical thing of farming every day. In the meantime, I will give them probably more straw tomorrow morning. We're just feeding these guys. And I've cut them back a little bit on the grain because I feel they're in fantastic shape. So, same thing's happening here. is the wind's blowing in and it's making the pack a little bit dampy. So I don't want those conditions, so probably tomorrow we're going to put some straw down. In the meantime, I just fed them. I'm going to go to the other barn first, and then when I come back, I'm going to roll out the rest of that bale in the back there, that they have hay all night long, but they're looking fantastic, so extremely good shape. I'm very happy with that. And even the Dorses are fantastic shape. The Dorses will be cut back real quickly on the grain because Dorses can prolapse if you feed them too much. They just don't tolerate being overfed. Like, I put a brand new bale of alfalfa down, and what do you call that? That's not pregnant. She's been eating alfalfa. Anyways, but some of these sheep are halfway with the pregnancy right now. So, on that note, I'm going to head to another barn. And I just fed these guys. The same thing is happening here. The windows are open. And it's blowing the cold, dampy, wet air into the barns. And it's not drying, so everything's kind of dampy now. So tomorrow morning, these guys will all get new straw. Probably not tonight. It'll be tomorrow morning. So I'm going to fire this machine here up and get my feed for the other coveralls. And get that done tonight. And then shortly we're going to get rid of all those wool bags. There's 19 of them. That'll fill up my whole trailer probably. And I'm going to buy a broom and start getting rid of the cobwebs here. Clean it up for the winter months and get motivated. Because in 2 months we might have lambs. So, just going to set that right here. And we'll get some more corn in there off the bend. And we'll load up the grain and move to another barn. I don't know if you can hear the rain on the roof. So I'm just filling that up for tomorrow morning. When I fill that up, that'll feed the sheep for 2 days probably. And then I have 2 pails of corn for tonight. These 2 pails of corn, and they'll heat, they're going to heat the house over there for the whole day. So we have a corn stove in the house, and once a day I bring over a couple pails of corn, and that will heat your house for the whole day. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. So, the camera really doesn't say it, but it's kind of wet and dampy here because the curtain's open. That's why we're going to lower those curtains shortly. But we go slowly at the curtain because we got warm weather coming yet. So, again, tomorrow we'll probably put another bale of bedding in here. If you can you feel that wind blowing right through here? About 30-some miles an hour. Can you feel it? And if you stand back here where I pulled the curtain up, see right here, there's no wind at all. So there's the wind over there. No wind at all here. And the sheep will pick the spot where they want to lay down tonight. So, and then if it gets too warm in the morning when Lynn and I are doing chores, we'll just go like this. And we'll just bear with me. So I just unlock that little gear there. And if it's warm in the morning, we'll just go like this. Actually, I could leave it a little down tonight, actually. Like that, just to keep the air moving. We'll just lock it. And that little, you can feel a little bit of draft coming through there. Just to keep the barn fresh. Because if the barn's not fresh, you're going to have some pneumonia. So, Remember, I put the other side down too, halfway. So, fine looking ewe. So they're all eating. And I know what some people will say. Just leave them outside, Ernie. You'll do fine in the wet, cold rain. But something, if you leave these sheep outside in the cold, wet rain where they all get wet, they're going to increase on their appetites and eat more feed to keep warm. And if they don't get enough feed, they're going to start losing weight. And I know people will probably argue me about that. But if sheep are cold and wet and shaking, they're going to lose weight. So right now they have the option, and they'll go out tomorrow. And they got dry hay tonight. So that's the way we do it anyhow. Some people might not agree with that. But these lambs are in good shape. So, and right now, I just gave them a little bit of grain. And I guess some people will say, why are you doing that too, Ernie? Because I feel that those little lambs have to mature into good use. So a little grain won't hurt them any. And they didn't get very much. And these are the rams. And you can see they've got quite a long rams there. Nice length to them. They're all eating. So I'm going to go over there and actually kick some hay in another barn. And then I'm going to come back here and just stir that hay up that everybody can reach it tonight. And that'll be it for tonight. But the rain has eased off a little bit right now. But they're talking more rain again tonight. I don't know if you can see all the water on the ground, but I'm extremely happy with that. Because like I said, if you don't get rain, nothing grows. So, and we'll put that skid steer in the barn tonight because those little mold controls on those levers don't like the moisture, and I don't have the cabin yet. So I'm going to put the glass back in here to keep the cab a little drier. But in the meantime, that will go in the barn tonight, that it doesn't get all saturated, because then I'm going to have some electrical problems. So right now, I'm going to go to the back and roll out the rest of that bale that they have hay all tonight. So I just went and kicked all the hay in. Loosen it all up for them that they need tonight. And I said it earlier, that's a whole 70 some bales there, just off an old hay field that we use for bedding. Works really well for bedding. We do have straw too, but nothing goes to waste. So that curtain's a little down, and they're all eating. Feels pretty nice in this barn. So that's it. All I can do tonight. I'm not getting that too much, but I'm sure Lynn knows what she's doing. So I'm going to get out of here, shut the gates. Whoa. Shut the lights off. Oh, there goes a cat right there. Shut this barn down for tonight. There we go. What a fantastic picture. So, gonna put this skid steer away tonight. Doesn't get wet. And I'm gonna go and see what's for supper. Every farm needs a cat for mice control. So I actually told Lynn that I'm going to slow down my videos a little bit, and just getting tired of it, and I don't know, I think spending my time on something else. But I am gonna complete one of my stories. And a video or two ago, I said extremely important that sheep are in their max condition of weight in extremely good condition. And that's when I said that, it probably doesn't work for everybody, but it works here, and I'll tell you why. So, just to change the subject a little bit, to understand what I'm talking about, you can go online and you can pick up a graph or a sheet that tells you about milk production on dairy cows. A dairy cow that has a calf, she gives milk right away, because they're dairy cows. They give a lot of milk. They're actually bred to give enormous amounts of milk, way more than to feed your calf. Okay, so it's a dairy cow. But beside the point, you're going to see this graph. For the first 30 or 50 days, I'm not sure of the exact number, that cow will keep increasing in her milk after she has her calf until 30 or 50 days, where she maxes out on her production. Okay, and from there the curve goes down until she has 7 months, and then she's going to have a new calf again. She's going to have a dry period and have a new calf again. So she spikes out. Then the graph goes down on a slope to where the production goes lower every day until she reproduces another calf. And so the whole secret of that graph is, to be profitable, is how high you can make that cow spike out, and then to keep her milk production extremely, that line really level, that she's not tilting right off, dropping like 20 pounds or 10 pounds a week. You want her to lose about a pound a week. So the longer that line goes on, and the more milk she's giving, and the better payback is on that production of the cow. Okay, so just to make another example, when I used to milk cows, my max cows were giving 150 pounds a day, and when they peaked, that was the highest production I've really ever got. I got several cows doing 150 pounds, give or take, squeak it in between there. So that's a lot of milk. Every day, 150 pounds of milk out of one cow. The one cow particularly weighed a ton, and she was classified excellent. But beside the point. So that cow spiked out at 150 pounds, and then after 7 months of milking, because there's some other issues involved with this cow, but she milked for 7 months before she fell under 100 pounds. So do the math on how much milk she produced. She produced a lot of milk. There were a lot of bad consequences with that, but I'm just telling you what they were trying to make us do. So the whole secret with these sheep is I want to get their weight and their conditions of their body score extremely high, not to the point where they're fat, just to the point where they're extremely good shape. Because on our farm, when the sheep has her lamb, she is going to need all the milk possible off that ewe. So to keep that milk, to keep that ewe to spike out high in the production, and to keep her giving milk for quite a long time, at least 100 days when the lamb's with her, the more milk she gives, the better that lamb's going to do. The healthier that lamb is, the better that lamb fills out, and the better lamb has a better future of being healthy. Milk is the most valuable thing for that lamb. So you realize, when that sheep has a lamb, I want her to spike out, and then I want her to hold that milk production while that lamb's nursing for the whole 100 days, okay? And the way to do that is to have that sheep in extremely good shape. If the sheep is in poor shape, she won't spike out very high in the milk, and then she'll start to curve off real quickly. Well before the 100 days. She'll start dropping off in the milk, and she won't have enough milk for that lamb. So that's how we operate the farm. there's a lot of different ways people operate the farm with sheep. Taking the lambs off at 30 and 40 and 50 days away from the mothers. We don't do that at all. That lamb stays on that mother for 100 days. And if you look at our videos, that's one of the biggest reasons why those lambs look fantastic. And so that's how we do it. That's why I was just going to finish my discussion about why the sheep are in good shape. So the other discussion I want to have, and I've been running it past a lot of farmers, but I haven't really sold it off yet. So there's two different types of farmers. There's farmers that raise livestock, sheep, to go to other farms, which we try to specialize on. We're buying rams for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 rams. We're putting a lot of money into genetics. So what I'm trying to tell farmers are, if you're just producing lambs to go to market, stop concentrating on building ewes. So just take your ewes, concentrate on making the babies and going to market. That's your specialty. Don't do the replacement stocks. And then they say to me, well, how are we going to get replacement stock? I said, you're going to get replacement stock here. So the price of it will have to be discussed. But you can see how much effort we put into building new stock. So that's what farmers should probably specialize in. They should raise their lambs to go to market. Every year they want 30 or 50 ewe lambs to replace their flock to keep it up to date, and let someone else do the lamb raising and vaccination and quality, and you just concentrate on having babies. That hasn't been really sold off yet, but I think that's probably going to be the future. And a lot of farmers that are serious about the sheep industry. Let someone do the breeding stock, you just do the lambing thing. Something to think about. I'm a little behind my work, and I'm going to get going, and that's the end of my discussion today. And I'm tired. Talk to you later. So just, I actually left one part out. It's a senior moment. So the reason really that you want that sheep in really the max shape is because if she's in max shape, she's going to produce milk, a lot of milk when she has a lamb. That's normal. But for her to keep that milk production up to a certain level, she's going to have to produce milk. And that flesh on her back is going to be a major player on how high she keeps that milk production going. If she's in poor shape, that curve will start to go down. If she's in great shape, that milk curve will stay more flatter, and she'll milk longer, and she'll use the reserves off her back to feed that lamb. I left that part out. So that's the point of having the sheep in good shape, is reserves of her body weight that will go into the milk and give her more milk to feed that lamb, and that lamb is quickly finished off at a quicker pace and quicker going to market. So if your ewes are in poor shape, you might think they're getting good milk, but they can get way better milk if that ewe's in better shape. If you understand what I'm saying. I think I said it very plainly there. So that's the secret of having sheep in good shape, which some people will say that our sheep are too heavy. We have fantastic luck with that. And if you look at our videos, our lambs look like $1 million in my eyes anyhow. But I'm going to go on. That's one thing I just threw back in there. I forgot to say that. So I was just left something out. I was just talking earlier about why you want those sheep in good shape. And one thing I didn't follow up on is when those sheep give so much milk. When they had their lambs, you know how most people put creep feed out right away within the first few days or whatever, a week, and they want the lambs to eat grain, and I see on YouTube that a lot of lambs will start eating within the first week. To be honest with you, our lambs won't eat any creep feed at all, hardly nothing, for at least 50 days. And the reason why is because that sheep is giving lots of milk. And that is the most natural thing for that lamb, to be having milk, not be eating grain. Grain is a man-made product. So I know we do feed grain to the adult ewes to get them in good prime condition, but the lambs are introduced to creep feed but they won't touch that creep feed for 50 days. And these lambs are going to be 50 to 55 pounds at 50 days. And at that point, the lamb's intake gets so aggressive, they want more food. And at that point, after 50 days, the lambs start trickling away at the creep feed because they just want more than what the mother's producing. So basically, our lambs are only eating creep feed for the last 50 days of their 100-day period, and then they're eating the creep feed. Before 50 days, they're not eating much at all. And I can actually prove that on my channels. But later on, when we have lambs, you'll watch it. But the reason for that is because those sheep are right out on their milk, and they're right flat, right out, giving lots of milk. And that lamb is nursing way more than it actually wants grain. And I left that part out, and I'm just, if you watch your channels, you'll see that later on. So that's the thing about the creep feed. So when I watch YouTube, I see people have creep feed out, and the lambs are like 10 days, 2 weeks old, and they're trying to nibble at that grain, which they're really not made for it at that young of age. But that would be a sure indicator in my eyes that ewe doesn't have enough milk. And that little lamb is hungry, and it's going to start picking away at the grain. Not enough milk, got to find something else, starts to eat grain. Probably, maybe works for some people, doesn't work down here. Anyway, there's Hamish, right there in the center, looking pretty proud with his bunch of little women here. Hey. So, are you a pet? Hey, are you a pet? How's it going, Hamish? Those are little small ears you have there. Nice ram. Got a real nice top on them. See, when he stops, his feet are in the right position. He's got a real nice bunch of ewes here, so I'm pretty excited to see what kind of lambs we get out of this group. And these are definitely not large sheep. They're quite big capacity, but they're not tall. But see, he's a solid guy. Hey me, hey me, hey me. See, Hamish there knows I love him. He knows that he's got the tree of the barn. Hey, bud. Anyways, better get moving.
What just came in the mail? Ah, finally. We had personalized plates, and they peeled.
These won't.
No, these are the new ones, but they made them. You pay extra for personalized plates, and they were ruined, so we reordered more.
You know something? I'm going to tell you something. What's going to happen here? I'm going to tell you a little history. I can read the future. That plate is going to end up in a bar somewhere when you pass away.
Okay.
It is. That's going to be a big item. How many plates can you buy with that? Only one. In whole Canada, only one plate says Ewetopia. Think of that. You're going to pass on, and that's going to end up in some major bar. Rolling Stones, maybe.
Couldn't it be in something better than a bar?
What? Oh.
Okay, Arnie just walked in with a pail of corn. So let's go see what he's up to. Whole corn?
Whole corn.
Grown in our fields. And what's it doing?
Heating the house, 2 pails a day.
And what size pails are those?
It's probably, right now it's not too cold, so we're probably heating the house at about 30 to 40 pounds of corn a day. And if it gets really cold to the freezing point, you're probably going to heat the house in about 70 pounds a day.
And that's our entire house.
Pretty efficient.
Pretty efficient. And is it adjustable, that flame?
That's right. Right now it's on 1. It can go up to 5. And this is how I get my heat every winter. Because I can't get any warmth from Lynn.
And on that note, stop filming Arnie anymore.